evening, and welcome to Couch of Thrones, Episode 3, The Long Night. I'm your host, Josh, and this is my co-star, Kostas.
Oh no, what a bad decision I've made.
That was so dramatic. Yeah, so, hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So, Kostas unfortunately got very excited with the episode and broke his leg in 4 places and is now probably going to lose it? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I think we're just going to saw it off right here.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
But yeah, you had a pretty nasty fall.
Yeah, it was great. I slipped on a hat and died.
So he's going to be convalescing on our couch for a little bit while we discuss what the hell happened last episode, which was a lot. And yeah, also not a lot, but a lot. And yeah, so I think we're going to actually, we have, as you might know, Kathy's not here for this one. She unfortunately had a prior engagement she had to go to. I believe we have a video message from her that we're going to show to you guys. So if you just direct you to the big screen over here that you can actually see.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and play the video.
Welcome to my episode recap. Since I can't be with you tonight, I thought it'd be really great if we could reenact the entire episode in a 2 to 5 minute sequence for you guys to watch and air as part of the show tonight. Oh, you can't see anything? Oh yeah, well that's sort of, you know, an homage to the entire episode, which was aptly titled The Long Night. And it was hard to watch. It was great, but it was hard to watch. But let's put a little light on that subject. I kind of feel like I need an emotional therapy wolf after that episode. I think that's common. I've heard from other people like they needed a support group, like a Game of Thrones support group. So welcome here at Brookline Interactive Group on our cable channels and on YouTube and on social media to our emotional support group for Game of Thrones. If you would like to talk about Game of Thrones, please message us via Facebook and we'll respond. And I'm going to share my thoughts, and then the gang that's in the studio tonight will share their thoughts. I can't be with you because I'm taking off at 5 in the morning to go down to DC to support community media and tell your Congress people that they should keep supporting shows like this, but also public affairs shows, community news, and government meetings, and lots of awesome media literacy work that we do in our community. A couple points. The crypt was safer. Who knew? I was really surprised by that. Major bonus points for House Mormont. That was awesome. I've heard people talking about sort of this idea of whether or not last week kind of set us up for earned deaths. Like, did the characters actually earn their deaths on the show? And I kind of feel like they did this week, right? Because we had Theon totally got like the redemption that he needed from Bran, I hope. Jorah, Lyanna, the Little Mormont, that was classic, awesome scene. But what do we say to death? Not today. And so we have 3 more episodes for that. Dany cannot fight. Who knew? She's been dependent on her dragons the whole time. I would like to have her maybe get some better skills. Maybe Arya and Bran can help her with that. The Dothraki extinguish scene was awful. The anticipation for that, you kind of knew it was coming, and it was still really horrible. And then on the other end of the episode, the White Fire Bridge. Also, shudder. I need my support wolf right here. Jon Snow, you still know nothing. You were a reckless idiot. What were you thinking, trying to sneak up on the Night King? Huh? That was really also another moment of, oh my gosh, now there's going to be double the amount of people that just died, becoming more dead soldiers. There really didn't seem to be a plan. I don't know about you guys. I'm curious to hear what Josh and Kostas think about that whole situation. But yeah, I think we talked about that last week. There really wasn't much of a plan. Dragons fighting in midair. Wow. And was that like a miscommunication? I couldn't really tell because it was like one dragon and the other dragon, and I didn't know what was happening. it felt like there were dragons fighting in midair, and it was Danny and John's dragons. So that was weird, and I wonder if that was some sort of representation of the awkwardness between them or the miscommunications that they're having, something like that. Actually, kind of hardly anyone died, and that seemed kind of weird to me. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this episode. Like, I thought it was epic and amazing. The fire, I just think about it from producing a show or film perspective, like, wow, I could see why that took a long time. Kind of hard to see, kind of blurry, hard to see what was happening, was hard to follow. Wish I'd watched it with subtitles. And I was totally surprised by the Night King and by Arya killing the Night King. Although there were a lot of clues, right, about that. That it was going to be Arya. Like, oh, I have to have this special tool, which she ended up not killing him with that tool. I think she killed him with his own tool, maybe, that was going to kill Bran. But that was totally a big surprise. Questions I have that I will leave you with. Where the heck was Bran? Why was he gone for so long? What does he not know? Did he know that this was going to happen? I don't know. I'm confused by that whole narrative point. What does Tyrion know? Because clearly he knows something because he talked to Bran. Hopefully he just like downloaded Bran's brain into Tyrion. And why was he spared for his brains? That's pretty foreshadowy. Melisandre's death is that the end of the Lord of Light storyline? I don't know. Light versus dark. Now we're going to the South. Now I also wonder how excited I am about the South and about that whole thing, because I kind of thought the Night King battle was going to last more episodes. So now I'm like, 3 episodes? Do I really want to spend that much time with Cersei again? Not really. So I'm curious if you guys, why do you care about next week? And now that the Night King is dead, what other possible plot narratives could happen, or where could things go? And lastly, why is Arya not using her faces? It's been like hardly, she hasn't used them at all this season. Maybe she used her faces to get all the way out to the weirwood, because that's really unclear how she got there. Anyway, that's all from me. You guys get to talk a lot more this week because I'm not there asking you questions or talking. Hope you guys on Facebook and on our community channels and YouTube will ask us questions. We'd love to discuss topics that you think are interesting, like is Arya really Arya, or is she, the waif, ongoing debate, or any other questions. So thanks so much for holding down the fort back at home, you guys. Hi to Jacob and Josh and Costas, and thanks to Corbin, who is our awesome editor who edited this wonderful title sequence. Thanks so much. See you guys next week. Bye.
This is Kathy's thoughts on the episode. Like I said, unfortunately, she couldn't join us tonight. Looks like she covered quite a bit, so I think we'll just kind of start off. We'll just do the general stuff. What would you think?
I have incredibly mixed feelings on the episode. I thought it was beautifully shot. It was really wonderful. The last scene in the whole thing was very painterly, and I thought it was a very beautiful and wonderfully composed image. The content of the episode, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's not. There's so many ways that it could have gone that it didn't, and unfortunately, it was not as impactful as it should have been as part of the story. How about you?
I completely agree. There was a lot of, it was a beautiful episode, a lot of really amazing visual scenes. Unfortunately, it was to the detriment of some of the characters and some of how I view the characters as responsible human beings and commanders of people.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of problems with that and just their general decision making at the time. I understand they're fighting horrible zombie monsters, but you could have done it with a little more tact, I guess. I don't know. It was
It was like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
You're fighting a tidal wave.
And John knew that. I will go we'll go into the details of this a little bit, but I have mixed feelings about it. I really enjoyed it though. It was a fun episode. It was it was a major resolve of a huge plot point, which I didn't expect either. I was expecting this to go on for another 2 at least.
Yeah.
And have Cersei be a footnote, but it seems like this final struggle for the throne is what the story is going to be about for the rest of this. So we're going to start off. We'll go through a little bit of the episode because it was
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had basically the beginning was just more foreshadowing and doom, and like more build up to the big battle that was to come. We had the Red Woman come back and just burn a bunch of things. She just is really good at setting things on fire.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was
Go her.
yeah. Go her. She did her thing. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna come back, and I know you're gonna kill me or you want to kill me, but I can help. I'll do this.
Yeah.
And then she proceeded to set the Dothraki swords on fire, and then they were sent on a horrible suicide charge
Oh yeah.
into a swarm of zombies. What the hell was that? That was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
That was the biggest waste of talent I've ever seen in the show. Like, what was their plan? That's not how. So I'm big into like strategy and tactics and
Yeah.
dumb. That's not how you use cavalry at
yeah.
all.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, so. Also, did you? Wow, I can't string a sentence together. So, did Jon know that Melisandre was coming back?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She just kind of appeared.
So when the Dothraki were hanging out, being bros with
Yep.
their swords that were not made out of dragon glass or Valyrian steel,
Yep.
and we know that the White Walkers can be killed by only those two materials.
Yep.
Why are we sending the horse people to go die?
Yeah. I don't
without
understand.
weapons that are effective.
It was such a waste. Yeah, they were clearly sent to die. And I'm
Yeah.
surprised Jorah was leading that charge because it was such a stupid tactic. It was
Yep.
just no planning. They could have even they're great horse archers too. They could have hung back behind the lines and just shot at things. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
instead, they just rush out into the field and it was horrible.
It was terrible.
It was a beautiful scene to
Fighting a tidal wave.
Yeah, it was fighting a tidal wave. You could see seeing the lights go out and seeing like the hope die from everyone's faces was great, and it was also really setting the tone for the episode. But
Awesome cinematic effect.
yeah,
Very, very moving.
yeah, very dumb
like,
choice. That kind of irked me, and then just the whole battle, the way they portrayed it. I feel like it seems like because Tyrion was the only strategically minded person, and he was stuck in the crypt, that nobody knew what the hell they were doing, and it made me so mad to watch it because
Yeah.
seeing his tactics, the Battle of Blackwater, and seeing some of the guile he would use, and it just none of that was there. It was
Yep.
all just very poorly planned battle, and it really decimated their forces to a point where I think they're gonna have a lot of trouble in the next couple surviving what's next.
Yep.
We had things like the artillery stopping. We had these just little nitpicking things. I don't want to do too much on them, but finally they retreated back to the lines, and everyone's like, "Wow, that was a bad idea." As this just tidal
Yeah.
wave of zombies approaches.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much. I mean, Jon knew. This is what I mentioned last episode too. Was Jon knew how they fought. He knew
Yeah.
what they were facing, and it was not a regular army. It's not something that you can fight with regular battle tactics in an open field.
Yeah.
Here they are in an open field.
Turns out you were definitely right about that point last time.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why they didn't. I don't know.
I mean, and he's fought them multiple times too.
Yeah.
So he knows how they fight.
But he didn't change his tactics based on anything. That makes me just feel like he's a terrible commander.
But like, wasn't he a reasonable commander, like uniting the North?
Well, he's a great leader, a political leader. He's a terrible tactician, a terrible strategic commander.
True.
I mean,
He has like basically like thrown himself to die several times.
yeah, charge head on, face the battle head on.
Yeah,
He
like the
doesn't-
Battle of the Bastards.
he never-
where he's like, it's time to die.
Yeah, like even the Dothraki, if he just sent them off for a bit, it's like, come back in a couple hours, guys, after they're sieging the castle to flank them. That would have
Yeah.
been maybe a good tactic.
Yeah.
But like, instead, what they do is they waste their cavalry. That's not. Yeah, it's just he
was-
attacks things head on all the time. This is the only way he knows how to do things, and it's
Yeah.
part of his character. But it was bad.
And you saw that in the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
I don't know if we just go through the list. We have like,
Sounds good.
yeah, we had Jon charging the White Walkers again, the dragons, which is horrifying. I'm like,
He's so good at that. He's like, it's time to go.
yeah. He's
Time
like,
to get murdered.
They finally come in with the dragons, yeah, and they're like burning everything, and then he sees the whites just line up. He's like, oh, this is it. I got them. They don't know what's coming, and they're like, yeah, I think they kind of do.
Yep.
And he flies in, and suddenly the Night King comes in, and he's like, oh, they expected it all along.
Yep,
Like,
yep. Dragon time, and then like a bunch of zombie nerds attached to the dragon. That was a really cool like shot too. Like
Yeah.
seeing them like just swarmed on top of it like a almost like a disease or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy cool.
Like a bunch of ants just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
eating
All
a
over
bird
it.
or
It
something.
was nuts.
It was
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and so what do you think for the rest though? I mean, there's a lot of things here that were bugging me or just being a
No, this is definitely a great episode filled with many strange holes.
yeah.
So my biggest like conflict with it is that it has basically trashed the climax.
Yeah.
It like
At least what they said the climax was the night battle. But,
Yeah.
I mean, of the story that's the real
Yeah, yeah.
story arc that's been going since the beginning because it's
Yeah.
the very first.
yeah. So the first scene of the first episode involved like dead bodies like in sigils and zombies walking around and like a kid getting like eaten or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Coming
And-
back as a White Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like so there was all this like foreshadowing from the beginning, which is like normal in like cinematic language.
Yeah.
And then to end it here in the way that they did where they just like killed off the Night King and blew up the entire army in like one blast is very anticlimactic because like it just felt
Yeah.
like they could have prolonged it a little bit more to give you that tension, especially when there's like 3 episodes left in the season,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
I was kind of
Yeah.
I did kind of appreciate the surprise though because they built this world where characters can die left and right.
yeah,
Where brutality is commonplace. And then by actually having them win out, it's kind of like Battle of Bastards when John went in. Like I felt like he was
I
gonna
thought I
die.
was gonna get eaten.
Yeah, it had that same kind of tension, and by almost create like you almost don't expect the hero's story, like the good guy's going to win at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how well they've brutalized these characters. It's like, and then you're like, when they actually do win, you're like genuinely surprised. Like when
Yeah.
Arya, but we'll get to that after. But when that happened, I was, yeah, it was.
Okay, so speaking of like dying, Jamie and Brienne.
Oh.
I saw them die like
Multiple
15 times.
times. I
They're
know.
like, "Yeah!" Like zombies are like all over them, and then you see them again later, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck happened?
How
here?
did this? Yeah, this is
Like-
being screaming from being bitten to like and
Yeah,
I remember seeing
What-
Sam under like hundreds
Yeah.
of zombies just
Yeah.
screaming, and then it cuts to him like a couple scenes
And
later.
he's
He's just
fine.
like he's just covered, he's just buried in zombies, but like oh god,
But,
he's
like-
just like okay,
like what happened to them? Did they die? Did they not die? Is this maybe that's what's
Nobody
happening
got-
with Bran and his crows? Maybe he's traveling back in time to earlier points in the episode and then erasing it from history or whatever. And then I'm out. I have no idea what's
Bran-
going on anymore.
see Bran, yeah. I don't think Bran was pretty useless in that episode.
What did he?
He could have. So what he could have done is he could provide great intel to the troops as they're forming their strategy and changing
Yeah.
the defenses. He just watched it from crows.
We didn't see anything of his like what he did.
He became crows.
He turned into birds.
Yes,
That
and
was
he
pretty
flew
cool.
around and watched the battle.
Yeah. So that's actually interesting. So
Yeah.
can he control multiple creatures at once?
I guess I would assume so, unless he could.
What does that mean? That's nuts.
That is kind of nuts. I mean, they're birds. They're not really like.
Yeah, but it's like you have to like think from different perspective points at once.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That is kind of nuts. Yeah.
Like his mind has to be able to like fragment itself. That's crazy.
Yeah. That was.
I don't know. Anyways, I hope he turns into birds and like next episode's
someone's-
all about the birds.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is what happened. This is what actually happened.
Yeah, we can see how
Instead of,
Brienne
like-
saved the
Yeah,
day or
yeah.
something.
Brienne and Jamie died like 14 times, and
Yeah.
then like, yeah, it'll be great. And then the birds.
So I guess going through the battle because it's like There's a lot that happened, but
Yeah.
we had the trenches was like the first good tactic, which
Oh,
they
yeah.
actually put behind the troops.
Yep. That
Not
was
the smartest.
They
They could
yeah,
so
no, that was bad.
They could have made multiple layers of trenches. They could have like funneled them into
Mm-hmm.
and through the trenches, just make really deep holes and just. That's how you fight zombies. I don't know. That was
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there, but
Wasn't there also like a material in there that lit on fire?
yeah.
Yeah. So like if one of the archers missed with their flaming arrows,
Yeah.
no one can retreat
Yeah.
because it's on fire.
Yep. I mean,
Ah!
it was poor planning. A lot of parts.
It's gonna be great.
We had, let's see, we're gonna do this. So when they finally broke through the walls, when that should have been like plan A, but it seemed like once they were past, they were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Now we have no idea what we're doing anymore. There's
It
no
was
strategy.
chaos.
It was
Everyone
chaotic.
was dying at all times.
Yeah, it was
Tormund
just-
was just murdering on a pile of murder. It was just,
There was so much blood.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
whatever
even know what
zombie-
happened like half the time because it was blurry and crazy.
Yeah, it was just an outright melee in the middle of the castle, and that was it. There was no backup plan at all.
No,
you think they have all these rooms to retreat into and like
Well-
funnel them into? They didn't.
Wasn't their plan was like, we're going to trick the Night King into
Oh,
getting
yeah,
into the
yeah,
castle
yeah.
and then coming to the tree
To
thing.
really just attacking ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of like that's
So, yeah, and then they were just like, it's murder pile time.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay.
I'm kind of glad. Like if John had his way again,
Yeah.
everyone would have died because he wanted to hold the dragons back from Dany coming in and swooping in. So it wouldn't even have that support.
But wait, doesn't that mean like everybody, like all the army pretty much died? Because like they had to fight through the entire army, which,
They did retreat at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean like they retreated into the castle to die more, right?
Yeah.
So like
Basically.
So they had to fight through the whole army to get to the tree place,
Yep.
and they just massacred like thousands of people to get to that one spot.
Yep.
And then Arya luck-sacked it because like Kwisatz Haderach, Paul Atreides, staring into the future was like, yes, this is when it all happens. Have my thing back in the day, this little stabby device, and then you can murder that dude with it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, I was surprised that she did it.
I was so hyped.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was a good moment, though. I think it was really.
Yeah.
I was expecting her to die at that point, and when it didn't happen, I mean, and I shouldn't have, I guess.
Oh man.
But it's
Yeah.
We did lose a lot of characters, though. We lost Ser Jorah,
Yep.
Theon.
Theon, he was a good man.
Yep. We lost the Theon. Yeah, and that was the good moment, I guess. Brandon
Yeah.
and Matt at the end. Is
Yeah.
Like,
You're a good man.
yep.
And then he gets eaten by zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Night King shows up, does his thing. Oh man, one of my favorite parts was when like the Night King and Bran were facing off.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's two moments that I feel like they could have changed the narrative structure to make it like really crazy cool and like an awesome like deep down in the pit of like the climax after you've like gone to the after you've gotten as much hope as you possibly can, like, oh, we're gonna win, and then you just take it all away,
Yeah.
and that feels so good in
Yeah.
like at least like narrative structure.
That would have been good with the if they had been doing a lot better
Yeah.
when he raised the dead again.
Yeah.
That was it seemed like they're already screwed when they did it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like if the Night King and Bran had some kind of like weird thing going on, like maybe so like when I saw them both,
Yeah.
and like they switched back and forth between the two faces, the Night King looks kind of like Bran.
Yeah.
In like his nose, the way his like facial structure is, kind of Branish.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Bran's actually the bad guy. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe that'd be a way to save the rest of the season. Bran's actually the Night King. He raises the dead from there and then charges down at Cersei. Oh,
Maybe.
clearly the best. I don't know.
Definitely think they're gonna have some problems going forward. I mean, this is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a victory, but it
It's
seems
a
like
Pyrrhic
their
one.
death.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, so what? Let's look at what's left. We have they're decimated. They've lost all their forces, possibly one dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cersei still has the Golden Company, and yeah, and the entire Lannister army, which is still down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's they're probably screwed.
Yeah.
I feel like there's very little like coming out of this. They've saved humanity and Westeros, but they've put themselves in such a weakened position now that they are gonna have a really uphill battle getting the throne anymore.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah. Does the throne even matter?
well,
I'm very like nihilistic after like that episode. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if it actually means anything anymore. Man.
it does mean power. It does mean control over the fate of all the people of Westeros. I mean that's.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, it didn't. After the Night King, I mean, before he was dead, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter.
That
Now
was-
it
that was
suddenly matters
awesome,
again.
too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess we're getting close to the point. Like, what is the point of this whole show?
Yeah. Yeah, and I really thought this was going to carry on.
Yeah.
To see it like end like that and that narrative arc,
Yeah.
it surprised me, and it also shook me a little bit on what the narrative is going to be going forward.
Yeah.
Because the game's going to it's changed again, and now we don't know what's next as far as the show and what the story will be.
Like, I just don't want to go back to like
The plots and
the big boring plot. I mean, it's not boring. It's just like it's not as interesting as the Night King plot,
yeah.
and like it doesn't seem as powerful or meaningful as the whole like what everything in all of Game of Thrones has been leading up to. Like winter is coming. Did it actually get cold down in King's Landing yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's actually an important question.
Yeah.
So now that winter is actually going to happen,
Yeah.
and everybody's dead and there's no food, does it get cold in King's Landing?
I think it gets a little colder. I don't know if it actually will snow.
Yeah.
It seems like they're not really built for it.
Yeah, because like if there's an actual like winter like across all of the world, then they're screwed. They're dead.
Yeah.
There's like no chance that they've got at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it also is it's hard to say if like the Night King is linked to the Long Winters.
Yeah.
If the White Walkers are part of that, or if it's just the way the sun is in this world.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're definitely face a lot of problems as far as
Yeah.
like surviving anyway. But actually, it might be to their advantage though. I mean, considering it's the perfect place to hold up, at least except for the wall missing now. The wall's a little broken, so that
It's,
might.
it's a little broke.
But I mean, also like imagine like the psychological factor of having the Golden Company come up north to siege them and seeing all the bodies surrounding Winterfell.
yes. That oh my god.
That would be pretty horrifying.
That'd be you'd be like, what happened here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just turn around and not deal with whatever just happened.
Yeah. I could see a lot of soldiers noping out of that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. like I mean, just the disease of it
Yeah.
alone would be devastating.
Yeah, there's got to be like a real big cleanup going on after
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And with people like there's so many people dead.
Yeah. So now that like we have no idea what's gonna happen next,
What do you think?
like at all?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, what do you think is gonna happen next? Because I've got a crazy conspiracy theory at some point.
I mean, so I think I'm still hesitant to say the Night King plot's over. I would say,
I hope you're right.
yeah, I would say that there have been times when he's been said to be defeated before, and he's come back from the brink of destruction. I mean, they said, the prophecies and stuff would say that he was, killed and conceived or created in Winterfell, or the site where Winterfell was built, and then came back, despite being dead for, I don't know, hundreds of years, thousands of years. So I wouldn't totally say he's gone, or maybe it's not even him per se. It's more like a force.
Yeah, like the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, like they're linked or something.
Brand's the bad guy. Brand's the bad guy.
Could be, but yeah, maybe not fully gone. Maybe gonna come back a little bit later because that would maybe save the plot from being a kind of
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
a waste, or not a waste, but like a
Yeah.
unresolved issue. Like it felt like a subplot.
Yeah.
At that
which
point.
which is really sad because they were like billing it as like the plot.
Yeah, it felt like this
It's
was
so
the
bizarre.
deciding factor of the entire series. This was like
Yeah.
all of our little human games are nothing compared to this otherworldly force that's going to take us out. And now that's gone. And we're like, I guess we're going back to our shit, guys. Like, we're going to go back to killing each other again. And sorry for, mentioning it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So what's your theory?
all right, here's the theory. This is great. So you've seen the intro, right?
Yes.
You see how it's curved inwards like a bowl?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Westeros, or this whole like world, is actually the inside of a Dyson sphere. Whoa! And that's why there's magic and people coming back from the dead. Crazy nano machines. The winters can be longer because the star at the center like pulses in and out of like how much energy it gives off, or whatever the energy source is in the center.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why there can be like weird seasons. Or maybe if those rings are actually real, it depends on like when they get aligned to like cause different seasonal changes. Maybe that's what's going on.
This is really a major sci-fi plot.
This is definitely a sci-fi movie, and Brain's gonna wake up and be like, man, this is definitely the Matrix. I know kung fu, and he's gonna be like one of the scientists like running a simulation or something.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Life is hard. Oh man,
That's definitely that's theory.
that's
It's
awful. I don't know what to do anymore.
it's hard to say. Like it's so everything we knew is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And it's kind of you kind of left wondering what is the narrative? What's the point? What's the
Yeah.
the message or the plot?
Yeah.
And I mean, next episode's probably gonna have to redefine that quickly because people are gonna feel lost. I know I feel a little lost as far as
Yeah.
what's next.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I necessarily would be on, feeling super on board with another Cersei versus everyone plot.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah,
I'm guessing,
she's more annoying than
yeah.
anything else.
And she,
That's how I feel.
no, same feels. Man. Yeah,
So yeah, how are we gonna approach the next few episodes?
as far as how we review it or how we.
Or even as a viewer, how are we supposed to approach that after that happened?
I don't know if it's hard to say because you feel like this was like you said this was the big thing. This is everything that mattered. Now
Yeah.
What matters?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess they're gonna have to re-engage us with it. I mean, I feel like the plot's gonna have to shift dramatically, and it might not be. That's why I think maybe the Night King's not done
Yeah.
because it just doesn't seem like it's gonna carry on with just.
Yeah.
that.
That'd be.
I could see maybe
Something interesting.
Westeros rallying behind Daenerys or something, and after what they did,
And then fighting Cersei or whatever.
that would be very
Yeah.
tropey. But yeah,
Gotta fight those people, and then she fights Jon because Jon's also a Targaryen thingy.
I hope not. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem.
I'm so excited for really bad writing if that happens.
Oh, of them all turning on each other after this
It's just-
horrible.
It's
yeah.
gonna be so bad. I really hope that doesn't happen.
But me too, because that would go against any kind of theme I was hoping this show would have.
Yeah.
It's like coming together and being like, yeah.
Oh, dear writers of the past of Game of Thrones, please don't do that.
Yeah, and please don't do a Tony Soprano.
We
Just
need to-
cut to black and also, yeah, that was actually
Yeah.
they did say that, that's one thing I'm worried about is they want to do an edgy plot
Hmm.
ending where they would be debating what happened and I don't want that. I kind of
No.
want an ending or a definitive idea. I don't want to I don't want it to be totally a mindless, every
Yeah.
bow tied and every,
I mean, could they have even had an edgy plot if they didn't kill the Night King?
I mean, they could have if they didn't,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that would have been an open-ended question as far as what the fate of everyone is.
Yeah. Did I ramble about the Sansa thing yet?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah. Okay. So another fulcrum that the whole series could have pivoted on.
Go on.
All right. Yes. So Sansa at some point during the episode, I don't remember exactly when, but she was someone handed her a thing, and they said, Sansa, you need to take this and run.
Was it a dagger?
It was either the dagger or a note or something.
Okay.
And she was like, I totally don't want to run away from my people or whatever. But if she had done that,
Yeah.
if she had just evacuated and ran south,
Yeah.
then what could have happened, and it would have been amazing, and it would have been far more crazy
Ballsy.
than the Red
Yeah.
Wedding, is she runs, the White Walkers wipe out everyone in Winterfell, and then she is the only survivor of that event. She goes down and pleads to Cersei, hey, this is what's happening. Here's proof of what's going on. I need your help right now. Maybe she gets killed by Cersei or whatever. It doesn't matter. But now the next big fight is on Cersei, and we're brought down to our lowest point that we could possibly be because all the characters that we came to love, except for the people that are jerks like Cersei, are now dead.
Yeah.
Except for Sansa, maybe. But yeah, that would have been devastating and probably the greatest way that they could have approached this episode if they just crushed us.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
I was
And-
ready for that. That's what I was prepped for was the crushing. And
Yeah.
I'm a little grateful they didn't do that, but at the same time, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I would have been I would not have faulted them for that.
Yeah. And then they
as
could have
writers.
spent the next 3 episodes building up hope, and then finally defeating the Night King. But instead, it was just oh, we fought the Night King.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get lucky and something cool will happen like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, I really want to see where the narrative goes and what they can do because they've
Yeah.
built these amazing characters and this amazing setting,
Yeah.
and to just kind of let it all like go out like that is
Yeah.
is not doing it justice, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I have enough faith in what they've done. I mean, it's arguable about like the past couple seasons about what was good, what was bad for pacing and for storytelling, but
Yeah.
I want to hope they can pull it together and make something really amazing and really
Yeah.
great that's going to last for.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Man, this episode was pretty bananas.
It was bananas.
Yeah.
Incredibly bananas.
Whew. Ah,
So, guys, I think we covered most of the topics. I mean, we had some good theories about what's going to happen, and we had a good talk about what generally happened. Just to say the Arya jumping from there was awesome. I did love that part.
she like came out of nowhere. Too.
Yeah, and I really thought she was gone.
I know that was gonna be. There's so much cool.
Yeah.
It's just like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the knife thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably said that already, but
That was
it
cool.
was yeah,
That was
good
cool.
good full circle on that, and having her save the day after
Yeah.
starting off as like someone who nobody saw had any faith could wield a weapon or be a fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was a good ending to that.
It was great. So it was ups and downs. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope the next couple episodes are the show we dream it can be. And
Yes.
it can go places that we never would have thought of, and happy dreamland murder people. Yeah, that's my takeaway from this is let's go.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see what happens next.
see what happens next.
All right.
See you next time on Brookline Interactive Group.
Yeah, so thank
where
you guys.
Things are interactive.
Thanks for viewing our weird show, and come back next week for discussions on what the hell happens now and where everything goes from this point forward.
I mean,
I'm kind of curious, and I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll see.
yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys.